Haunted Mansion Review. Disney Horror Comedy channels its spooky illusions from original ride. Justin Simien's creative, post-Pirates reboot of the Disneyland attraction features decent laughs from Tiffany Haddish, Owen Wilson and Danny DeVito, but disappoints in the VFX department. For a few years there back in the early 80s, Disney took a turn to the dark side, releasing live-action movies like The Watcher in the Woods, featuring a creepy late-career Bette Davis, and A Something Wicked This Way Comes from the mind of Ray Bradbury, that were intense enough to inspire nightmares, in kids at least. The youngsters of that time are now parents, and some are surely asking themselves how far they can trust Disney not to traumatize another generation when a movie like Haunted Mansion comes along. Truth be told, the PG-13 rated feature, which marks the studio's second big-screen adaptation of its spooky theme park attraction, isn't really that scary. Director Justin Simien, Dear White People, leans more on comedy than horror, bringing together a handful of funny stars to deal with Gracie Manor's ghost problem. The result is certainly a lot less frightening than the prospect of having to revisit the 2003 Eddie Murphy version, which paled in comparison with that year's Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, gone all fronts, but didn't seem half as desperate as 2002's Country Bears. These days, practically every Disney movie seems to be haunted by the specters of what came before, as the company keeps exploring ways to tap into its existing IP. You know the fairy tale/animated feature/ride, now see the movie, or so goes the pitch, as the studio counts on audiences to make the connections between each film and whatever inspired it. Haunted Mansion benefits from the example of Pirates, taking what parkgoers love about the ride, clever sight gags and imaginative ghosts, in this case, and treating those as Easter eggs in a fairly compelling standalone story. While the visual effects are surprisingly weak for a film of this scale, the script, from Ghostbusters' writer Katie Dippold, proves far better than anyone might expect, establishing an emotional foundation for what might otherwise be a gimmick-driven haunted house movie. The film opens on a meet-cute between a skeptical astrophysicist, Ben Lakeith Stanfield, and a woman who puts much more faith in all things supernatural, played by Charity Jordan, then skips forward a few years, after tragedy has cut their marriage short. Ben has become a surly alcoholic, rescued from his downward spiral by a visit from Father Kent, Owen Wilson, an eccentric priest who looks like someone's dime store Halloween costume version of a character from The Exorcist. Ben needs something to believe in, and the movie will give him that, not so much in the form of ghosts, though the phantoms are undeniably real to its characters, as through his connection to single mom Gabby, Rosario Dawson, and her 9-year-old son, Travis Chase Dillon, who's still mourning the loss of his dad. Father Kent enlists Ben in using his scientific background to identify the spirit haunting Gracie Manor, a big old Louisiana house with a very complicated history. The movie's first few paranormal illusions are fairly effective, as Simien takes his cues from the Disneyland ride. Come to find, Simien actually worked at the park one summer in film school. But as the film unfolds and other characters join the ghost-busting operation, including a loudmouthed medium named Harriet, Tiffany Haddish, and Bruce, Danny DeVito, a dyspeptic Tulane professor who specializes in all things supernatural, Haunted Mansion starts to require more elaborate CGI, and visual effects supervisor Edwin Rivera and the team at Industrial Light and Magic seem overwhelmed. Meanwhile, Al Nelson's sound design adds an invisible but essential boost to the ambience. As mystical Madame Leota, Jamie Lee Curtis appears awkwardly superimposed on a crystal ball, looking like something out of a low-budget Goosebumps episode. And Simien took the trouble to cast Jared Leto as the headless Hatbox Ghost, who's intriguing when glimpsed in silhouette or quick flashes here and there, but disappoints when finally revealed as a subpar CG ghoul with cartoonish features. Even so, the film's single funniest scene involves Stanfield, as the film's sullen straight man, and DeVito, who took a shining to horror in the early 2010s, tapping into that dark streak here, describing said apparition to a police sketch artist. The more this overlong movie relies on ghosts, the less engaging it becomes, and though Simien presents a few optical illusions, such as endless hallways and a stretching room modeled after the ride's trompe-l'oeil antechamber, the ideas are more interesting than the execution. While most of the cast gets laughs by bickering, Ben and Travis deliver the film's more serious message: this is a Disney movie after all. Both characters have lost loved ones and might be tempted to join them on the other side. Haunted Mansion honors their grieving process, even as it attempts to put smiles on audiences' faces.